And if you try to transition a child, you are guilty of child abuse, and every doctor, every nurse, every clinician that is helping that is culpable in that crime.
So full of pork that even Scrooge and the Grinch are happy about it.
No, there wouldn't be a First Amendment without the Second Amendment. Your right to freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, the freedom and liberties that we have in this country are because of the Second Amendment, and never ever forget that.
She's not going to be the great savior for the Democrats, and they can't skip over the first black woman vice president with the whitest man ever in history, Gavin Newsom.
It's time that we, the people, take this country back.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the 27th episode of Restoring the Republic. So now this one is kind of unscripted. We're coming at you, so we're technically off this week. Now, we spent the last couple of days down in Miami at the Trump Resort, the Doral. Then I flew home to see my family for a few hours, then came up here this morning to be with the president again as he signed the Laken-Riley Act. But the reason why we're coming at you is because my amendment, or my bill that would amend the 22nd Amendment. And so this has gotten a lot of buzz. It's gotten a lot of media attention, and Trump himself has even said that he would be interested in serving a third or fourth term. Now, my bill would only allow for 3 terms, and so what does it do? And so you have twice in history where you've had presidents serve non-consecutive terms. That would be Grover Cleveland and now President Donald Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States. And so what my bill allows is if someone serves non-consecutive terms, they would be eligible to run for a third term, and only under those circumstances. And so so what's the process? I think that would be a good question. So it has to get 2/3 vote in both the House and then the Senate, and then it has to be ratified by 3/4 or 38 of the states. So that's a heavy bar to hit. If you just to give you context, President Trump won the popular vote in roughly 31 states. You can double check that, but it was roughly 31 states. And so obviously there would have to be a lot of momentum. The American people would have to speak to say, you know what, you've secured the border, you've fixed the economy, our cities are safer. We're better off today because of what you have done, that you, in fact, deserve a third term. And keep in mind, the reason my thought process behind it is if you look at the failed policies of Joe Biden, the amount of damage he did in 4 years, it's going to take a decade to unwind and to fix that. And so the idea of giving Trump a third term was born. Like I said, Trump has said himself that he would be willing or interested in serving a third term, but what happens next is to be determined. So with that, this is Congressman Andy Ogles coming from you from Washington, D.C. As I was just with Donald Trump here, then back in Miami, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And as you've seen in his first week, historic presidency right from the start. Caroline Leavitt is doing a fantastic job in her role. The whole team is coming together. I expect most, if not all, of his nominees to get through the Senate. So with that, have a wonderful day. God bless, and thank you.
If you try to transition a child, you are guilty of child abuse, and every doctor, every nurse, every clinician that is helping that is culpable in that crime.
This thing is so full of pork that even Scrooge and the Grinch are happy about it.
No, there wouldn't be a First Amendment without the Second Amendment. Your right to freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, the freedom and liberties that we have in this country are because of the Second Amendment, and never ever forget that.
She's not going to be the great savior for the Democrats, and they can't skip over the first black woman vice president with the whitest man ever in history, Gavin Newsom.